It seeps. After the message from my son, I didn't sleep. I didn't drink. I didn't rage. I sat in my cabin while the ship moved steadily forward, carrying cargo that belonged to someone else, somewhere else, just like me. Planned. That word echoed louder than any engine. I replayed years of my life with a new lens. Every argument, every cold goodbye, every time she encouraged me to take another contract, just a little longer. "You're good at this," she used to say. "You provide." I thought it was gratitude. It was strategy that I wrote back to my son carefully. "You didn't imagine it," I typed. "And none of this is your fault. Ever." He didn't reply for hours. When he did, it was only one sentence. "I thought so." That sentence hurt more than the betrayal itself. Children shouldn't have to understand adults. From that moment, I stopped reacting and started observing that I didn't confront her. I didn't accuse. I became something she didn't expect, silent and precise. That I began documenting everything. Not obsessively, methodically. Messages, financial transfers, timelines. I requested copies of old contracts, bank statements, school records. Patterns emerged like cracks under pressure. She had started preparing long before the affair became physical, encouraging my absence, isolating me emotionally, building a narrative where I was the unreliable one. That she wasn't impulsive, she was careful. The man, her lover, had moved into the role seamlessly. School meetings, repairs, weekends, presents. I wondered how long he had practiced wearing my life. I reached out to the doctor again. Not for comfort, for clarity. She read everything I sent. Didn't interrupt. Didn't soften it. Then she asked one question. "What do you actually want?" The answer surprised me. "I want my children to know who I really am. Not a ghost. Not a wallet. Not an excuse. A father." When my next shore leave came, I didn't go to the apartment. I booked a small place nearby and asked my ex-wife, politely, formally, for time alone with the kids. She hesitated. That hesitation told me everything. "You're making this difficult," she said. "I've always been difficult," I replied. "Just far away." She agreed to one afternoon. The kids arrived cautious, like visitors entering a museum of their own past. We talked about school, games, nothing important, until my oldest looked at me and said quietly, "You know, he tells people he's our dad sometimes." I didn't react. I let the silence do its work. "That's not true," I said calmly. "And you don't have to correct anyone. Just remember who shows up, even when he's far." Before they left, I gave each of them something small. Not gifts. Letters, handwritten. For the first time, I saw something shift in their eyes, certainty. After that day, my ex-wife became nervous. Her messages multiplied. She asked questions she never cared about before. She wanted to talk things through. She wanted peace. People who don't ask for peace. That I declined politely. Then something unexpected happened. The man left in a warning. No explanation. Just gone. She called me that night, voice shaking. "He abandoned us," she said to us. I didn't correct her. Instead, I asked one question. "Why do you think he stayed so long?" Silence. Weeks later, I learned the truth through someone else. He hadn't left because of guilt. He had left because he discovered the money was ending. That I had quietly redirected my earnings. Trust funds, direct payments to schools, controlled support, legal, transparent, unavailable to misuse. She hadn't noticed at first. She always thought money was automatic, love on autopilot. Her narrative began to collapse. But that still wasn't the ending. The real ending came from the seed on my final contract. The doctor visited again, this time as a passenger, not an inspector. We talked late into the night, not about pain, but about futures. "You could stop," she said gently. "You've earned that." I considered it, and then I realized something terrifying and freeing. If I stopped now, I would finally arrive somewhere. When we docked, I made my decision. That I resigned. That no more contracts. No more excuses. No more disappearing. That I returned. Not to reclaim a marriage, not to compete with a ghost, but to exist. The custody hearing reopened 6 months later. This time, I didn't argue emotionally. I presented presents, records, letters, testimony from teachers, neighbors, even from my children. That my ex-wife looked at me like she was seeing a stranger. That in a way, she was. The judge didn't punish her. He corrected a mistake. Shared custody. Real time. Real days. When we walked out, she whispered, "You planned this." I smiled softly. "No," I said. I learned. Years passed. The children grew. Stronger. More certain. And one evening, standing on land, watching them laugh without hesitation, I understood the final truth. The sea didn't steal my family that IT revealed who never truly wanted to keep it. And the most unexpected ending of all, I didn't win that I returned. Some endings don't arrive with noise. They arrive folded into an envelope. Life settled into something almost normal. Shared custody meant routines again. School pickups, weekend breakfasts, arguments over homework. Ordinary things. The kind I once thought were indestructible that I stopped going to see. For the first time in years, my address stayed the same longer than a season. I learned the quiet geography of land life. Grocery stores, parent-teacher meetings. Evenings that didn't require checking weather forecasts. The children adjusted faster than I did. Kids are experts at survival. They accept truth when it's steady. My ex-wife kept her distance. Polite. Controlled. She spoke to me only when necessary. There was no apology between us. Only the shared understanding that the past was a locked room neither of us wanted to enter again. Or so I thought. One afternoon, I received a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was her sister. "She's in the hospital," she said. "She asked for you." I went because refusing would have been another kind of lie. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and unfinished conversations. She looked smaller in the bed, fragile in a way I had never seen. Not dramatic, not manipulative, just tired. "I don't have long," she said without preamble. I stayed silent. "There's something you need to know," she continued. "About the children." The room felt suddenly airless. "They're yours," she said quickly. "All of them. I know you've wondered." I hadn't. Not consciously, but something in me loosened anyway. "That's not it," she said. "Listen." She reached for the drawer and handed me an envelope. "I wrote this years ago. Before the affair. Before everything. I never sent it. I didn't open it there. I waited until I was alone. The letter was dated from my second year at sea. I don't know how to say this without sounding cruel. So I'll be honest instead. I was never as strong as you thought. Every time you left, a part of me hoped you wouldn't come back. Not because I stopped loving you, but because I didn't know how to be the kind of woman you needed. The money made life easier. Your absence made my choices possible. I told myself I was surviving. But I was also rehearsing a life without you. When I encouraged you to stay longer at sea, I wasn't thinking about another man yet. I was thinking about freedom. By the time I realized what I was doing, it was already easier to betray you than to face my own emptiness. If you ever read this, know this. You didn't lose me because you left. You lost me because I didn't know how to stay. I read it twice. Then I understood the final truth, the one that doesn't comfort, but clarifies. She didn't destroy our family out of hatred. She dismantled it out of fear. Fear of dependence. Fear of ordinariness. Fear of needing someone more than she needed herself. And suddenly, the ending I had imagined for years, revenge, justice, triumph, felt small. She died 3 weeks later. The funeral. People spoke about her kindness, her strength, her sacrifices. I stood with my children and let them remember her the way they needed to. That night, after they were asleep, I stood alone on the balcony to no engines. Just wind and city lights. I realized something then. Something I wish I had known earlier. Love doesn't fail because of distance. It fails when someone decides that being alone is safer than being honest. The sea taught me endurance. Betrayal taught me clarity. But fatherhood, real, present fatherhood, taught me forgiveness without forgetting. I still keep the letter, not as evidence. As a reminder that sometimes the most unexpected ending isn't closure or victory, it's understanding. And that, finally, was enough.